I'm sure you all know this song, so join me and let's sing together What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong, okay? There you go. That slide came a bit late, but never mind. Come on, let's all sing together. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, mama, what a wonderful world. Okay, everybody together. The colors of the rainbow are not so pretty if you're hungry, and also on the faces of the hungry children in the world. I see friends shaking hands saying, please feed me. They're really saying, what the hell are you guys doing? I hear babies cry, I watch them die. They learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, not a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, it's not a wonderful world. What a wonderful world, my friends. We're far from it. It's not a wonderful world. The world that we live in is on fire. Right? It's as if I would just douse myself with petrol and self-immolate. That's the world that we live in. It's a world where the Hunger Games is not a $1 billion movie, where every 3.6 seconds in the world somewhere a child dies because it's hungry, because he or she needs food to eat. Not because there was an earthquake, not because a volcano erupted, not because a lorry driver was drunk, not because the child got sick with COVID, but for want of a bun and a glass of milk every 3.6 seconds. Count it down. Right there, child died somewhere in the world. This is the world that we live in. It's not a wonderful world. The world is literally on fire. Right? Surface temperatures have increased by 2% in the last 100 years. And we keep going like this. More and more ice will melt, sea levels will rise, and the Maldives will disappear. Right? And people like Mercy will have to move more inland from Port Dickson. Right? This is what we're doing to the world to cause this global warming, right? We pollute in every possible way that a human being can contemplate. We are polluting and killing the world. And so, scenes of a movie like this, one day, will become our reality if we don't do something to abate it. We live in a world where 250 million kids are illiterate. They cannot read, they cannot count. And then we wonder why there are wars, why there are gangsters, why there is so much of crime in the world. Because of our wanton disregard for these children. We live in a world torn by war, strife. People are just killing other people, right? Why worry about COVID? We don't need COVID. We can do it to each other. Right? We are the suicide squad after all, the human race. Right? We're killing, we're shooting. shooting, we are maiming, and we are leaving utter destruction. That's what the human species is capable of, okay? We live in a world where, through basically human invention, some virus that was meant to kill by biological warfare escaped from a lab and killed just everybody. 6 over million people, right? If you think about it, that's 25% of the country's population. Gone because of this disease. And right at the center of it, of the sense of hopelessness, is human apathy. That's best defined by the story of Kevin Carter, right? A Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. He took this photograph and everybody in the world hailed him as a great photographer, gave him the Pulitzer Prize for photography. And 2 years after that, Kevin Carter killed himself. Because he couldn't live with the guilt of having been there, having set up his camera, having tested for the light, and this child is there. Yeah? Easier to go down than come up, never mind. This child is just there wasting away and depleting, right? This child is just wasting and depleting. And this guy would have had all the time in the world to set up his camera, check the light, get the perfect shot, and he waited 20 minutes before he took his photograph. You know why? Because he was waiting for that vulture to do this. Imagine the drama of that shot, right? Be like the devil itself had descended upon this child. And of course, after some reflection, he realized that he was not really a decent human being at all. But you know, it's not just Kevin Carter. All of us sometimes can find ourselves apathetic towards the suffering of other people, because human suffering has a numbing effect. You just walk by the street, you see a child, okay, begging, and you just walk by, because you know, you've seen many before like that. And so, you know, if you hit your skin hard enough, and you keep hitting, sooner the pain will go away. You won't feel it anymore. We as human beings have become numb to suffering, because suffering is brought into our living rooms by the media of the world. You switch on your CNN and you see children dying everywhere, you see wars everywhere, and then what do? You just go and have your hot chocolate and go to sleep. This human apathy. Now, when I was a kid growing up, right, and if there was a car accident anywhere, my father's first impulse would be to stop the car. He was not a rich man, he was quite a poor guy. But he'd stop the car, right? And he'd walk over and figure if there's a way he can help the victims. But today, when you see a car accident, our impulse is to do this. Right? Post it on TikTok. Then see how many people liked the fact that the driver died. This is the world that has become now. This is the world in which we live. And you know what? You and I, we don't fit into this world. We are like a round, peg trying to fit into a square hole. Or rather, a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. That's what we are. We don't fit. We are misfits. Rotarians are misfits because we can't take the shit. Right? We can't take this. That's why we want to do something about it. So, some people say to me, but then that's what the government is for. Right? We elect governments, we elect leaders, right? And that's their job, to take care of all these people who are suffering. So let me show you what the governments of the world are doing. This is what I think governments do. Yeah? It's not my fault, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's not. And then we have other government officials who do this. There you go. One person cleaning, 40 people to take the photo. Right? And then we have our members of parliament, very esteemed people, who protect our rights by doing this.
Something, what you want? You nak gaduh dengan saya? Ini time. Tanya saja.
There you go, there you go. Our esteemed honorable members of parliament, whom we call Yang Hormat, most respectful. Okay? These are the imbeciles that rule the world. And you know, my view is, can we rely on them to solve these problems? I don't know. So then I ask, what are most people in the world doing? Right? Most people. Do you know the number one business in the world? Does anybody know what it is? Anyone? The number one business in the world, the business that has the highest turnover of any business in the world. What? Sadistic good God. Thank you, PDG Lakshman, for that. I shall solicit no further remarks from you. This is the number one business. Religion. Right? Religion helps numb the pain further because we say, God will help you. Don't worry, I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you. You know, if anybody says to me, I'll pray for you, I always say that, never mind, just give me $10 first. That's better than your prayer. Just give me $10. I don't mean to disrespect anybody's religion, but what I'm saying is that even if you pray, there is a phrase that says God helps those who help themselves. So it's still upon us to do the work. God has helped us already by putting us in this station in life. Right? I started off my life very poor. Right? And when I was a kid, my father was just a clerk. We didn't have money. My mother was very sick most of the time. Right? So I spent a great deal of time with my hand like that, asking for help. Please give me help, please. Right? And one good Rotarian, Dr. Liman Kun from Rotary Club of Kajang, he was my mother's doctor. He said, you know, I took part in a debating competition. He thought I was a bright lad. He gave me a job in his house as his sort of babysitter for his kids. Right? And he'd give me money, and he lent me money. He gave me money. He didn't lend me, he gave it to me. But I said, no, I don't want any handouts from you. Can I borrow the money for my exam fees? He gave me the money. That's how I paid. You know, education is not free. When I was a kid, you have to pay for your MCE exams and things like that. He lent me the money to pay. So my hand was always like that. And somewhere along the line, I think God was kind. I had some breaks, and my hand from here turned this way. I was in a position to give money to people. And when that happened, I said to myself, I will do this so that my hand doesn't ever become like that. Right? And so even when through very trying financial times, when my hand almost went like that, I still continued to do this, which is why I'm doing this now. Because no matter how bad my situation is, there are people in this world who are far worse than us. Imagine this. The 65 richest people in the world have more wealth than half the human population combined. That means 3.5 billion people's wealth combined does not equal the wealth of the 65 richest people on the planet. Imagine the inequity of the world in which we live. So my friends, praying is not going to solve it. It's going to take us somewhere. Maybe it will spiritually strengthen us. But after the prayer, God expects you to do something about it. You know? And that's why everybody in the world is looking for a hero. That's why the Marvel movies are billion-dollar movies. Because you sit in the cinema for 2 hours, and no matter how bad the villain, no matter how great the evil, no matter what the challenges that are faced, Iron Man will come and kill it. Right? Or Doctor Strange will do something strange. Or Wonder Woman will come and whip us into shape. That's why these movies make $1 billion. Because it wakes up that inner instinct in us that says, let's do good, let's fight evil. And the whole world is looking for heroes. But you know, the heroes are right here. You guys, right? This lady who broke her foot, ruptured her tendon, right? Yeah, your Achilles tendon, you know how much of says, I ruptured it once actually. It was very painful, okay? And she's here in Penang on a wheelchair. Why? To do good in the world, to create hope for others, right? My good brother for me, right? He collapsed from exhaustion last night. And he's at that age where he can just sit down at home, drink his coffee, he's rich enough, okay? And then just irritate his wife every day. Okay? But instead of doing that, he's here, still wanting to share. Right? Our district governor Krishna could have just, said, hey, my term is over. Okay, this has got nothing to do with me. Bye-bye, guys. Okay? But he's here with Pushpa to continue to inspire you. Right? Each and every one of you is a hero. Which is why in 2024, there will be no more of this VIP tables, this nonsense. Because for me, each and one of you is a very important person. Okay? We are the people that are going to make a difference in the world. We are the people that will make a difference in the world. Okay? And you must believe that you are the heroes. Okay? Because there is no hero that is going to fly down from the skies wearing a cape called Iron Man. That's a work of fiction. The real heroes are A.T. Kumararaja, Siti Zubaida, Fong. These are the real heroes. Vijayan, Hugo, Satisan, Pushpa, right? Ricky Chan, look at him, okay? Still looking very young and vibrant, okay? With this very funky hairstyle, okay? You are the real heroes. Mike is the real hero, right? Everyone here in this room. And so, my friends, you are this. This is the image I share with everyone every chance I get to speak. You know why? Because this is the image of Rotary I have in my head. This is the image of you that I have. So no matter what you say about me, it doesn't change my image of who you can be if you choose to be that person. You are a shining light that shines hope into the lives of the most downtrodden people in the world. Those who are sick, those who are the victims of disaster, those who are poor and impoverished, those who lack education. You shine like a light into their lives. And so, remember this, that even in the darkest room, all you need is a small candle to illuminate. The power of hope is such. The power of hope doesn't require you to do magnificent things. It doesn't require you to give $1 billion or $100 or $1,000. Sometimes when a person is despondent, you put your hand on their shoulder, tap it, and say, don't worry, things will get better. That will illuminate the darkness in his life, and that will now turn him or her away from that darkness towards the light. And that's our job, to nudge, to poke, to push, to prod, and to bring them into a better way. And so, my friends, I share this video with you. I've shared it many times, but it's worth sharing 100 times over. Because this video, for me, demonstrates the power of hope.
His name is Gordon. He's my father. He was a soldier. One, he was a prisoner of war. He was a coward. He didn't believe there was goodness in the world anymore. When the war ended, he changed. His faith returned. He He dedicated his life to help other people. And on the day he died, he asked me to come and find the person who changed him. What did you say to him?
You know, this is an ad for a Thai telecom company. But you know, it's a true story. And the message is very powerful. And this year, it's almost providence that the theme is create hope in the world. Because this presentation was prepared by me a good 10 years ago. Right? And I remember doing this presentation at a district conference or a district assembly 10 years ago, before many of you started attending district conferences. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice for me to remind you again of this power of hope? Because hope is transformative. Hope is what has made us what we are today. It's because somewhere in our lives, somewhere in our journey, there have been people who have enthused us, who have placed in our hearts and in our minds hope that we can be better. If not, what would you expect out of your life? If you are born poor, if you have very little opportunities for education, and if you don't find someone who can tell you, you can do it. For me, my hope giver was always my mother. She always called me from a very young age, Siva the Great. You know? And it's not that I believe it, but you know, when you're down and your mother pats you on the back right after rotaning you a few times and says, you are great, Siva. Okay? Sometimes it's like, it's literally the carrot and the stick. Right? But we have met many people like that in our lives. I have met many people like that. That's why my life has been shaped this way. No human being lives a life without falling. No human being lives a life without strife. No human being lives a life without falling down once or twice. If you live a life like that, you've not lived at all. So my friends, I beg you now, I appeal to your sense of fairness, love, equity that's in your heart. To now be the hope giver, because we are the beneficiary of the hope given to us by others. And when you give hope to others, just remember this. As Shakespeare said, you know, he was talking about mercy, but it equally applies to hope. He said, the quality of mercy is twice blessed. It falleth from the sky like a gentle rain to the place beneath. It blesseth him that gives, and it blesseth him that takes. And hope is very much like that. If you give somebody hope, it reinforces hope in your own life. It strengthens your soul. It strengthens your mind. And so, my friends, let us be the hope givers. Let us be those individuals who bring light into the lives of others. Okay? Let us be the Rotarians that do this. Right? Let us be the Rotarians that change the lives of others for the better, not just now. Because when you give somebody hope, it creates a ripple. They give others hope. Hope has a binary effect. If I give you hope and your life becomes hopeful, you will now share that hope with others. And they in turn will share with others. It's the original MLM scheme. Right? Because hope multiplies. And hopelessness also multiplies. Okay? So my friends, be the ripple creators. I end by asking you this question. What do you have in common with these guys? They are our founding fathers. In every Rotary 101 history lesson, they talk about Paul Harris, Sylvester Shield, Guslow, and Hiram Shorey. These guys met and they formed the first Rotary Club. 2 years down the road, 2 of them left, and Shield and Harris persisted, which is why we have Rotary today. So when people talk about retention and they say you must retain your members, remember the original retention rate of Rotary was 50%. Right? It's a historical fact. Okay? So the question is not how many lose, the question is how many more we bring in. Okay? So the question is, what do you have in common with them? All of you look very spiffy, suits, ties. Tell you what you have in common with them. One day, you will also be a photo on the wall like this. Right? One day, you'll come to my office, I'll be dead, but there'll be a photo there, hopefully. Right? That says, the Siva was here, okay? And I'm reminded of that conversation I had with my teacher, right? That some people will fade from memory, but not everyone, okay? Because people die twice, okay? You die once when your heart stops beating, but you die again when people stop speaking your name. So, Mandela's not dead. Lincoln is not dead. Gandhi is not dead because their memory lives in us. Their deeds live in us. Right? So live your life like that. That one day when you're gone, people will walk by some school and they'll say the Rotary Club of Timberlow, and somebody will say, my granddad, he was a member of Rotary Club of Timberlow, and then Patrick will live again. Right? There you go. Right? So remember this, don't die the second death. Live your life in a way that you leave imprints in the hearts and minds of people. Alright? And you do that by giving them hope, by creating hope in the world. That's the power that Rotary has given us. That's why we are the superheroes. Okay? And so my friends, I end by saying this to you. Create hope in the world. Thank you and God bless you.